is a 30-inch teardrop swag. I've only got a few of these left in the shop. But it's going to be a big design. So this is what we're going to be starting with today. I'm going to start with a 21-inch mesh. This is like, it has a pink, it's kind of more of a yellow than a gold, but by the time we cover it up, you're not going to see that much of the mesh. So I think it's going to work okay. So I'm going to start with this. We're going to go around the sides, and then we're going to fill it in with some 10-inch mesh. So I'm just going to drop it to the floor. We're just going to make small poofs around the sides. I don't want these too large. So I'm just going to gather make a little poof. We're going to fill the rest in with some 10-inch mesh, and we've got lots of picks and sprays and things we're going to be adding, so you're not going to see this mesh too much by the time we get done with it. Just to kind of fill it in and hide some of that pine. Now, as we get into more of the Christmas season, then you'll want to show the pine, and we won't be hiding it so much. Okay. We'll make a small poof at the bottom, and then we're going to start going back up the sides. Now, this is a teardrop swag, so we want to kind of keep it fuller up top, and then as we go down, it gets more narrow. So I made the loops smaller down here at the bottom. And as I go up, I'll make them a little bit bigger. Oh my God, just got it all twisted. Okay, here we go. So I have an idea for this design, but I don't have it all the way thought out. So I brought lots of different things, and we'll just kind of see how it goes, see what we want to add. But I brought lots of things to add. We may not add them all, but we'll have them. Most of my supply stuff is upstairs in the warehouse. So I want to try to grab as much stuff as I think I'm going to need first, because if I had to stop and run upstairs, it would take a minute. Okay, I think we're going to do about 2 more loops of this 21-inch, and then we're going to fill it in with some of the 10-inch mesh. Okay, last loop here at the top. Okay, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut it short, close to the pine, so that it gets hidden. All right, so we're done with our 21-inch mesh. And so now we're going to add in some 10-inch mesh. I brought in just some brown and some black. I already pre-cut some, so I'm not going to sit here and cut all of it while you guys are watching, but I will show you kind of how I cut. So I will drop this to the floor. I don't measure. I'm just going to pull and cut. If you want to measure, you definitely can. You can use a rotary cutter and cut it. Probably about 17 inches, I would say. So I'm going to do the same thing. I would just, this would be on the floor. You guys can't see the way I have the angle. And then I would just cut. So I don't measure. I just eyeball it. So gonna flip this back around. We're gonna start on the sides. I'm just going to add these 10-inch curls around the sides. We'll start with the brown. We'll just alternate between the brown and the black. Now I'm not doing every tie. I'm going to skip some because, like I said, we're going to have lots of stuff we're going to be adding. So I'm not going to use a whole lot of mesh. Sometimes I'll have the whole thing covered, but in this one I'm going to kind of skip. We got enough stuff going in, so. Okay. So I'm skipping several. Let's do a brown. You guys can't see how I'm doing these curls, but I'm just curling the ends. And then I just walk it together. And it makes a little curl. And I'm just sticking that curl in face down.
Speeding this part up, adding the mesh all around the outside.
You guys are making, okay. So we've got our base nice and full. Like I said, we can go in and add more later if we need to, but I think we're good. So let me see if I can fix this view just a hair so you guys can see more of the swag. There we go. Okay, so we've got our base. Now what I'm going to do is I have these super fun branches. They're mossy branches. I only have a few of them left in the shop, but we're going to add these to the design, and I want to get these in first before I add the bow, just because they're so big, and I want to try to keep them pretty much together. I'm not going to cut them up. So this one, I am going to cut about right here because I'm going to have my bow sit about right here and then go down. So I want everything from my bow up to be facing upwards. So I'm going to cut this branch here, and then the rest of this will face down. So I'm going to use my stem cutter because this is a pretty thick stem. And this stem cutter will cut these like butter. So, perfect. So I'm going to take this piece, spread it out, and we're going to add it up here. I'm just going to place it in these twist ties. Just tie it in. And then I'll add some hot glue to it too. Okay, so let me add a little bit of glue to that so that it doesn't come out. I'm going to tie it here at the bottom too. Grab 2 twist ties, just kind of weave it through here and tie it off. Perfect. Add a little bit of glue. Okay, now I'm going to take the rest of that piece and I'm going to tie it in going facing down. So let me take this twist tie that we used and I'm going to tie that in. Let's add a little bit of glue. Okay, I'm going to take and find another tie down at the bottom. And we're going to tie this bottom piece in. So this is like a Halloween fall design. So we kind of got the spooky branches going on. And then I'm going to take I don't need this whole piece, so I'm just going to take a section of this to do at the bottom. So I'm going to get my stem cutter again. And I'm just going to cut a section of this off. We'll save this piece for another project. Okay, now I'm going to take this piece that we just cut and I'm going to add it down here to the bottom. Let me find some branches or some of that pine tie. Pine tie? I don't know how you say that. The ties of the pine. Okay. I got a piece there, and let's get one more piece to tie this in. We'll do it right here. Perfect. Now let me add some glue to that so that it doesn't come out. All right. While that glue sets for just a second, I'm going to take a drink. Okay, so now we have these super fun, mossy, green and black branches into our design. So, next we're going to add the bow. So the ribbon I've chosen for this design is, again, these pumpkins that we're using are pink with some gold. So I have this beautiful pink and gold D. Stevens ribbon that I'm going to be using. So this is what's going to be going in the design. It is pink and gold. You may not can see it on the camera, but it's super pretty. And then I'm just going to add a touch of this black in here. To add a little bit of the black. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add a tail. So I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing. I know my bow's going to sit probably right in here. And I'm doing this because, you know, I'm not good at hand bows, so we're going to make an attempt, but I'm going to have about a, I don't know, that's probably about a 7-inch tail. And then I'm going to make a loop. This ribbon is very thick. Twist and make another loop. We may be breaking out the bone breaker, guys. I try to do these hand bows and I struggle every time. So scratch that. I'm going to get my bow maker. And we're going to do it along the bow maker. So let's move this out of the way. I've got my bow maker. I've got my little tail that we just made, so I'm going to push it down in there. I'm going to do one up and one down. This ribbon is very thick. Okay. So we've got a tail. I'm going to make about a 7-inch loop, twist, and another 7-inch loop. And I'm going to leave this ribbon connected because we're going to weave it through our swag. So I'm not going to cut this one. I'll leave it like that. Okay, now let's add in some of this black. So, have a tail going up. Now I'm going to make this loop about 6 inches. About 6 inches on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this. I'm not going to have this black, I don't think, trail down. I may change my mind, but for now, I'm not going to. Okay. So let me pick this bow up now. And I'm going to get a zip tie and slide under here. You could use a pipe cleaner too. You don't have to use a zip tie. I just prefer to use the zip ties. Take it off. And I'm going to get another zip tie and go in the back so we have something to tie on to our swag. And I'm just going to manipulate the loops like I want them, and the tails a little bit. We'll fix it once we get it on the swag. Okay, I'm gonna put the bow maker away now. See how easy that looks on the bow maker? I don't know why I cannot do it by hand. I need to practice. I know I need to practice. Okay, so here's our swag back. We're gonna bring our bow, and we're gonna have it sit about right here. So let me see. I'm gonna take the zip tie and I'm going to just zip tie it around that thick branch that we put in here. Tie it really tight, and let me cut this off. Okay. Alright, let's fix our tails. I'm going to give this a dovetail over here. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and we're going to make a loop, and I'm going to find a twist tie in here somewhere. There's one where I can tie this in. So we've kind of gone this way, and now I'm going to take the ribbon and go this way with it. I'm going to move this. I'm glad I didn't glue this in. I want this to come over a little bit more. So we'll go this way, and then we're going to go this way. So I want this to come over a little bit. Of course, right where I want it to be, there's no zip ties, so I'm going to take a brown pipe cleaner and just put it around this stem. And we'll tie it to the stem. And once I know I've got the placement where I want it, we'll add a little bit of glue. Okay. So let me cut some of this pipe cleaner off. Okay, now I'm going to go this way and find this tie down here. And then cut it off at the bottom. And we'll give us a dovetail down here. Okay. Let me cut these black ones. There we go. Okay. Man, that ribbon was tough to work with. It's so pretty, but it is very thick. So if you like thick ribbon, that D. Stevens ribbon will do the job for you. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Now we are going to add our pumpkins. So I want the first pumpkin to sit right about here. And then the second pumpkin is going to sit this way. Right about there. So I'm gonna have it about like that. So what I'm going to do is take a wooden dowel. This pumpkin is foam, so I'm going to poke that in there, add some glue so that it doesn't come out. I'm going to cut this off. Okay, and I'm going to add some glue to my wooden dowel here. And then we're going to put that in here where we want it. I'm going to add some glue to the bottom of the pumpkin. I want this pumpkin to sit right next to it, and we want to actually have them sort of connected. So I'm going to take a small little wooden dowel, push that up in there, add some glue. Okay, I'm going to cut this shorter. Find where I want this. I'm going to push this pumpkin up in there like that. But let me pull it apart and just make sure we add a little bit more glue. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to add another skewer to the bottom. Bottom of this pumpkin. Like that. Quit moving on me. Okay, so I'm going to go up underneath it and add this to the bottom there. Add some glue. And then add glue on the dowel, and we're going to push that in there. Just like that. I'm going to add some glue down here to the bottom of the pumpkin. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Perfect. Okay. We're going to add another pumpkin right up at the top, like right about here. Now this one's small. I'm not going to worry about putting a wooden dowel in it. You definitely could if you wanted to, but I'm just going to use some of this Gorilla Glue. We're just going to put it right in there. I'm going to hold it for a second. I'm holding that. I'm going to get a drink. Okay, now I'm going to take and add another pumpkin right on the other side. And this one I actually am going to poke into the other one so that they stay together. So let me add a little bit of glue. Cut the dowel a little bit shorter. This is a little pumpkin, so we need a little stem there. There we go. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. And hold that together. Then I'm going to add some glue to the bottom of this pumpkin. Okay, let me hold that for a second. Again, these pumpkins that I am using, they are pink and gold. They came from Amazon. There was a package of them. They also have them in different colors. So if you don't want pink, I know they had them in black. Oh gosh, I can't remember all the colors, but there were several different colors you could choose from. So I chose the pink. I thought the pink would be fun to do a pink and a black Halloween, but they did have other colors. So I will link this for you so you can get the pumpkins if you so choose to do so. I'll keep holding this for a second because it's wanting to come apart. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to take one more pumpkin and we're going to place it down here at the bottom. Sort of right about in here. I'm going to use this, I'm going to manipulate this stem or this branch here. Okay, so I want this pumpkin to sit right about here. I'll put this on. So I'm just going to use some glue. We're just going to set it right there. See, I let go of this one and it came out. So let me try to fix it. Okay, I'm going to let that set for just a second so that it doesn't come apart again. So while that's drying, show you some other things I have for this project. So I have some to bring in a little bit of the pink. I have some of the 60919. I think we're going to add a few pieces of this in here just to bring out some of the pink color. I'm going to tear this apart into 3 pieces. And I'm just going to fluff it out. I'm going to give this branch a twist. Make it kind of curly. And again, from the bow, we want everything to go up. So I'm going to stick one straight. Straight up at the top. Just going to dip it in my glue pot. There we go. We got some of that there. I'm going to take another piece. And we're going to go, still facing upwards. I'm going to go up underneath this pumpkin, sort of to the side. I'm going to dip it in my glue pot. We are going up underneath that. I'm just going to intertwine some of these mossy branches into this 60919. And when I say 60919, that's just the SKU number for this filler bush. It's one of my favorite filler bushes. Deco Craft Supplies, which is my affiliate link for Deco Exchange, they had these in all different colors. And I know they were getting restocked, so they may have some of these in their shop. Okay, I'm just gonna take now on the other side, so creating like a V, or we're gonna go up underneath the pumpkin, dip it in my glue pot, and we're gonna go up underneath on this side. Let me clip this little piece of mesh here. Okay, so now we have it going up to the top. Let me turn this back around. And we're going to start filling it in down the sides. So I have 2 more. I think we'll use all 3. So let me, again, I'm just tearing these into 3 sections. So these are good. They just tear right into 3 sections. Okay, now that we've gone up, we're going to start going down from the bow. So I'm going to take my first piece. We're just going to go in up underneath this big pumpkin, on the sort of on the side. And there's a little twist tie. I'm going to just tie that on there, just to give it a little bit of extra support. Okay, I'm going to add just a touch of glue to that where I tied it. Perfect. Okay, moving along, looking good. Okay, so now let's take another piece, and I'm going to go up underneath this pumpkin right here. I'm going to dip it in my glue pot. We're just going to add it right up under here. Just going to spread these out. Again, I'm sort of intertwining that mossy branch in here with that. Okay, I'm going to take my last piece of the second bush, and we're going to go sort of the bottom, sort of in the middle. And I might should have added this pumpkin last, this little one, but that's okay. We'll make it work. We'll work around the pumpkin. I'll add some more glue when we're done, just to make sure that pumpkin isn't going anywhere, since I'm kind of manipulating him a little bit. Okay, so we've got that down at the bottom. Now we're going to do this other side. So I'm going to take my last piece of 60919, and we're going to fill in the other side. Same thing, just like we did on that side, we're going to do on this other side. So split into 3 pieces. Just gonna kind of fan it out. Okay, I'm gonna stick this piece, again going down, because we're going down now. I'm gonna dip it in my glue pot. And just gonna stick it right in there. I'm gonna take a piece of this pine tie and just kind of twist around it. And then add a little bit of glue to that. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to take my next piece. Let me cut this even. There we go. Spread it out a little bit. We're going to go right under here to the side. Dip it in my glue pot. Perfect. And we may not need this last piece since I did this at the bottom. Let me just fan it out. I may save that, and if we need to fill in any spots, we can fill it in, because this bottom piece went like straight in the middle. So I think we're good. So I'm going to put this last piece to the side. If we need it later to fill in, then we will. Okay, so this is what we have so far. It's looking super pretty. Now I have this copper spray. It kind of brings out the gold that's in that pumpkin. So I'm going to take and add some pieces of this around. I have already pre-cut some up so that you guys didn't have to sit and watch me cut. So the same thing that we did with the 60919, we're just going to go around and add this. So I'm going to stick this piece right up under there at the top. Sort of intertwine it. Perfect. Now I'm not going to go in the exact same spots because we want to kind of get more to the side so that we can start filling in some of these other pines that's showing. So I went on the side there, still facing up. And let me do this side over here. Going into the side of that. There we go. We may cut these tails shorter once we get finished, but for now we'll leave it. Okay, I'm going to get a couple more pieces of this. Now we're going to start transitioning it. This one's still going to kind of go up slightly. We're going to transition it so that we can get around these sides. And then we'll start going down with these. I'm just pushing them way up in there. Now this is not going to be this will not be a cheap design. Between all the picks and the sprays, and then this ribbon that we use, this D. Stevens ribbon, is a pricier ribbon. So this is going to be a little bit more of an expensive piece, but it is going to be so pretty. Okay. So I'm continuing to kind of go around on the sides with this copper spray. I may have to, looks like I'm going to need to cut up some more. That's okay. I brought more to cut up. So I'm going to take this one and kind of go up underneath this right there. I may have to go get some more of this, guys. I thought 3 would be enough, but I got a little happy with it. So I may have to run out and get another one, but we'll see. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come in on the sides here. Start transitioning it downwards. Oh, we might make it. We might. If not, when this live is over, I'll go get some more and kind of fill in the places that I missed. But I think we are going to make it. Okay, so I ended up using 3 of those. This one I'm just going to go in down here under the side. There we go. Okay. Now I want to bring in a little bit more of this bow here is twist this. There we go. I want to bring in a little bit more of the pink. So I have these really fun pink berries. I only have 2 dishes of these, so we're going to make it work. So I'm just going to cut or pull off some of these berries. I got these berries, I think, let's see, at Ashland. So Michael's. So these berries came from Michael's. These pull off pretty easy. I'm just pulling them all off. Okay. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to start adding some of these berries in, just randomly around. Filling in some of that. Filling in some of the spots where we still see the pine. I'm gonna put one right here to hide the dowel from that pumpkin. Okay. Cut this one. Kind of putting these berries around. I'm kind of tucking these in these pumpkins. And on the sides. Now I have to remember I only have 2 of these, so I gotta space them out. So let me not get too happy. Let me make sure we got enough for the other side. Okay, let's add one down here. All right, I'm gonna start going back up this other side just so we can make sure we have enough. I'm going to cut this a little shorter. I want to get one down here at the bottom to cover up this little, where we tied in the end of that tail. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of glue there. Okay. Add some up here before I run out. I would have liked to have one more spray of that, but it's okay. We'll make it work. Stick this one down here. Okay, let me see. I may save this one for once I hang it up to see if I'm missing a spot. I think though, I'm gonna add it up at the top. We don't have anything up here. You don't want to forget about the top up here. So let's add it up here. Okay. What do you guys think so far? Super pretty, huh? Okay, the last thing that I brought in to add is the black honey locust spray. So we have these in lots of different colors, but I'm gonna take and we're gonna put this around the outside as well, just to kind of hide any of those pine ties that we see. So we just cut this up. I've already pre-cut some, but I'm just cutting this into little pieces. Okay. You definitely could stop here. If you don't want to add the rest of this, you don't have to. But I'm going to go ahead and add it. So I'm going to take this piece and I want to extend out our bottom since we have that tail from the ribbon that hangs down. I want to make sure we've got something hanging down with it so it doesn't look like it's just hanging down there by itself. And I'm going to kind of intertwine these little berries in here, make it look like it's all kind of like growing together. Okay. Now I'm just going to go around, and wherever I still see some little pieces of pine, I'm going to fill it in with this honey locust spray. We are almost done. And this piece is so pretty. I may have to keep this one. I'm not sure. My husband will tell me no. I have to sell it. But we'll see. I always want to keep everything I make. And that's not how you run a business, right? You have to sell stuff at some point. Okay, I'm just looking to see where I need to fill this in. I will hang this up as soon as we get done, and if I see any spots when it's hung up, I will add some as well. We still have a little bit of this pink filler bush too that we had left over that I can add if we need to. I'm going to add this one to the top because it's a bigger piece. Okay, I've got one piece there on the side, so let's start working on this side. If I have any pieces, I'll save them for the end. Got a spot here, let's get that. Okay, I have a spot right here that is missing some items, so I'm gonna stick it in there. I know you guys can't really see it, but I'm just going around the edges, and wherever I see some of that pine still showing, then I'm just adding this honey locust spray. And I'm going to add a piece right up in here underneath this bow. Me and this bow are going to go round and round, guys. I'm going to fix it when I get it hung up because it's driving me crazy. Okay. Don't watch me to learn how to make bows, because I'll tell you right now, I am not an expert bow maker. I do my best with the Easy Bow Maker, but we still struggle. Okay, I'm going to put this piece right here. Perfect. I think we are done. Again, I'm going to hang it up. If I see some spots that are missing or have a hole, I'll fill them in. But this is what we have. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'll hang it up and take a picture. Super pretty. Bye, y'all.